5 fixes and then refresh it all at the same time rather than doing it multiple times.
Also worth saying, I know a lot of you are used to getting communication from the MLS when there are changes or a bulk changes on its way down. Solving that in an aggregated system across 91 MLSs is it's on my radar. I know it. I know it's. I get the need. It's a significant problem to solve, and so I hear you about it, and we are working on how we can better predict and detect not just changes we generate, but ones that come down to us from the MLS that we might or might not hear about. So I don't have much more to say aside from I feel your pain about that one, and we're looking. Should we bomb through these open Q&A items here before we wrap up? Some good stuff in Q&A. Broadly, I think I opened a can of worms mentioning premium quotas. A lot of people had a lot of good suggestions about that. It's very loosely formed as a concept right now, and so it's open to a lot of input and any way that you'd like to slice it. I mean, some people in Q&A asked, could the quota go up overnight? Interesting, maybe. Interesting. A lot of people are asking if there's some way to give some quota relief when onboarding a new MLS. We totally hear that request. All of that's kind of on the table. Let's see. Oh, there's some questions about in-key index queries. So there is a way to do a query that supports a larger top parameter. I think it's 300,000, Justin?
Yes. And on the documentation site, on the front page, if you click on the release notes for Trestle 5.4 release notes, on page 2, there is a list of the resources and the fields that are considered the in-key index fields, and those are the ones that you can query as part of the top equals 300,000.
Yeah. So if you're doing a replication run just to get a list of current live IDs, you can go in pages of 300,000 with a very narrow payload set. Yeah. Let's see. I did not play Al Borland on Home Improvement. Thank you for the question, Luke Brookhart. I've never heard that before either, so that's interesting. Other things are kind of pieces of feedback. Anthony Soso has been very helpful in a lot of ways, and always is, but many good comments here in the Q&A. I think anything else that is being asked again, say again, Justin, where to find the list of in-key index fields?
I will. It's on the main trestle-documentation.corelogic.com. On that front page, under recent changes, August 27th, there's Trestle version 5.4. That's currently where it is right now. I think based on these questions, I will need to add that to perhaps under the metadata, add that there. But right now it's under just on that front page on the Trestle 5.4 release notes.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Listen, Miles asked a really good question that we like to really drive home to people. And he asked, is listing key the value typically referred to as MLS ID? And it is not.
No.
So listing key is a unique identifier across Trestle. If you're using listing ID in your backend scripts and you continue to scale, you will eventually have a bad time. Because I can query any MLS ID that you give me. I can query Trestle, and there's 4 instances of that MLS ID because we have so many systems. So highly recommend using listing key for anything that you're doing unique queries on. But in general, listing ID or list ID is equal to MLS ID from the source.
And there's no guarantee those are unique across MLSs.
Yep.
In fact, we know that.
And if you have a use case where you need to use MLS, you'll just always want to